Hi guys, it's Lanikia. I am coming to you with season 2, episode 11 of The Handmaid's Tale. Sorry, it's called Holly. Okay, so first off, there wasn't a lot to this episode, so this video probably won't be nearly as long as my other ones, but please don't quote me on that because you know I can get to talking. But it was really good, even though most of the episode was carried by Elizabeth Moss, who is probably going to win another Emmy because she carries this show. When they give it to her and tell her to go and just do her thing on the episodes, she can do it. And she doesn't even have to speak, which is so crazy. But yeah, this episode was good because we finally get the birth of the baby. We've been waiting all season long to be like, okay, so how is June gonna have this baby, and everything. So let me get into it. I'm taking time up, and I know y'all like, get to the review, ma'am. So okay. So we start off with June attempting to walk away because, you know, last episode they left her at the house because the Guardians didn't know she was in there, and she was hiding because Nick told her go in there because, you know, they didn't leave in time when she went to visit Hannah. So Nick is being kidnapped, and no, we don't hear anything about Nick in this episode. Well, they mentioned his name once, but we don't know anything about what's going on with Nick. So she's like, okay, let me walk to freedom. Like, I don't know, you know, she doesn't have a vehicle or anything, so let me just walk. So June starts off walking, and then she realizes, I am big pregnant, I cannot make it, I'm not going to be able to make it. And so then she's like, okay, she's looking around, and she sees a garage, which is a part, you know, it's not, I don't think it's an extension on the house, but it's its own separate, close to the house. And it's a 4-car garage. So she goes around and she tries to open the door, and it won't open or anything for her. So then she's like looking around and looking into the glass window, and she sees that there is a vehicle on the inside. So she's like, I need to get to this vehicle, or, you know. So when she turns around to, you know, walk back to the house to try to get some keys or something so she can get into the garage, she sees a wolf. And of course, you know, she's terrified because you just out there in the middle of nowhere. There's nobody to help you. She has no weapons or anything. But the wolf just lets her walk away quickly. She's scared, you know, she's afraid, but she walks away quickly from the wolf. So when she goes inside and she goes into the house and she's looking around, we see that the family, you know, there was food items and everything in the house. And we see she goes into one room where, you know, she had been with Hannah, and we see that there, you know, that she goes to the dollhouse where Hannah had been playing. Okay, so then she goes over to I guess it was the commander's room. She goes over to the desk, and she sees, on one thing, she sees, I think that little girl was Hannah on that picture with the wife, and they have a fish in their hand. Like, she had caught a fish, and then she sees, like a picture, a framed picture of like a child's drawing and everything. So y'all tell me, was that Hannah in the picture? Because I was like, well, maybe this was the house Hannah and them were staying in. Because remember the last time they left, but I thought it was different. I don't know. So y'all tell me what you think, or what you know, or let me know. So then she has her first flashback, and I was like, when the last time they had a flashback in these episodes? So then she has her first flashback, and it's of her dropping Hannah off at school. And Hannah doesn't want to leave her because, you know how some kids, they don't want to go, they don't want to be away from their mother and their father when they drop them off to school. And so Hannah was having one of those days, and so she was trying to tell Hannah, you know, go baby, go to school, I'll be, you know, there to pick you up later. And the teacher came out, and she was telling Hannah, you know, you're gonna have fun, you know, because you know how kids, you know. And she was telling June, let her go, because once you let her go, she'll be okay. And she'll be able to, you know, interact with all the other kids, and she'll have fun. But the hard part is once you leave, she'll be okay once you leave and everything. So June gives her a hug. She said, you're doing the last hug. So she gives the last hug to Hannah, and she walks away, and she has tears in her eyes and everything, which reminds us of the last episode where June told Hannah to, like, be strong, and she let her go, and she has to believe that Hannah's going to be okay. So I like the way they tied that in, or at least that's how I feel. You tell me what you think. So then we see, she flashes forward, and we see that she has found the garage keys. and the keys to the vehicle and everything. So she goes back out to the garage, and it does open it, and she's relieved, of course. And she goes in, and it's a cute little sports car there. And so she opens up the door, and she has a key to the little sports car. I don't know what it was, maybe a Mustang or maybe a Camaro, something like that. But anyways, she goes in, she unlocks the door and gets inside. And she cranks up the engine, and nothing's wrong with this vehicle. And she turns on the radio, and it's Oprah on the radio, and they're just, she's lit. It's the first time she's had any access to the outside world, and Oprah is saying on the radio, that we're still here. America and Gilead traders and everything, we are still here. It's like there's still a world out here that is America. And everything. So I was like, okay. So then we go to, y'all, I'm on my computer because I could not find anything. I'm at my mom's. I could not find anything to write with. So bear with me with that computer, because y'all know I like to handwrite everything out. But anyways, forgive me. So then June realizes, okay, I got the car working and everything. Now I need to go and get some supplies, because I'm taking this trip. She doesn't know how long she's going to be in this car. She just doesn't know. So she's like, let me get me a care package ready. Mind you, she's not speaking at all. But she's getting this care package ready and everything. And she's got medical supplies in case she has the baby, since Commander Waterford raped her. And now, at first the doctor had told her the baby was not going anywhere. But now Commander has raped her. So she don't know. She doesn't know what could happen. So then she gets her care package ready, and she goes back to the vehicle, and she's getting in the she puts it all in the trunk and of the vehicle and everything, and she stops, and I'm like, what's going on now, Joan? And so then she's like, looks down, and she goes back in the house, and I'm like, okay, she wants to change clothes. So she goes back in the house to change clothes and everything, and she's looking for something to wear, and of course there is nothing to wear. There's nothing to wear there, because this was a commander's house. Plus, they're in Gilead, so everyone wears a uniform of whatever station that you're in. So she takes off her cape, and she takes off her hat that they wear, and she goes to the commander's chest, and she puts on this long black coat, which makes her have a flashback to when she and Luke were getting ready, and they were getting ready to go out with the night out on the town. And she was wearing this cute little black dress, but she was pregnant then, and she was heavy pregnant then as well. But she was putting on her heels, her hair was cute, makeup done. she looked really cute. And Luke was looking at her like, you got it or whatever. And so then they, had a special moment just talking about, they were ready for the baby to come or whatever, because she was big pregnant. And I guess the contrast of she was wearing that little black dress, and it was happy moments, and now she's in this long commander's coat, and this is not so happy. But then, so anyways, as she's coming out of her flashback, she hears something, and she slowly starts turning and walking towards, the window where she could look out, and she had that, how when something's happening and you I know this is not happening. That's how June was. And so she looks out, and we see a Mercedes Jeep coming up, and I'm like, oh, maybe this is Nick. I'm just hoping for June's sake, maybe this is Nick coming back to get her. Maybe he got away some kind of way, because they took his vehicle. So maybe he got away some kind of way, and he's coming back to get her. But of course not. It's the Commander Waterford and Serena. And they come into the house, and mind you, Serena, this has to be my favorite scene of the whole episode. I'm not gonna lie, this was my favorite scene. The two of them together. So they go into the house, and they're, June starts, trying to hide. And Serena comes, she's yelling, Alfred, she's yelling at the top of her lungs, and you could tell she's angry. She's pissed that that she's not, if she's there, she's not answering, or she's not there. She's pissed because she's they're not here. And Commander Waterford was they're here somewhere or whatever. So they start looking. And he's also telling Serena, listen, man, we can't stay here too long. Or whatever. Because I guess he's we're not supposed to be out here. We can't stay here too long. Excuse me, y'all. So then she tells Fred, she was like, I told you they were here, if they were still here or whatever, because she looks and she sees that like food, canned goods are missing from the cabinet, where it looks like someone has gotten supplies, which June did get supplies. Excuse me. So then he's like, they're here, we'll find them. And she was like, if they're still here. But anyways, he's like, they're here, we'll find them. Nick wouldn't do that or whatever. So then they're looking around, or what, they're looking around, and she goes upstairs and she sees where June's cape and her little hat are. And so she's talking, she goes and finds Fred, and she's like, Fred, she's yelling his name. So he comes out from the back, which I think he was almost close to finding June. But anyways, he comes back out, and he's like, what's going on? And she said, I told you they were gone. And he was like, no, I let her see her daughter. She would be grateful to me or whatever. And Serena Joy is like, Fred, you raped her. You sent her with her child's father to see her daughter, and you thought she was going to come back to you grateful? Like, she's always running away from you. She doesn't want to be with you. She doesn't like you. She hates you. And he was like, me? And he hit her with that. Like, y'all, it was so funny. Like, it was so funny when he hit her with that coat. And he was like, if you had showed her any kindness or anything, she wouldn't have ran away. Because Commander Waterford, like, I don't know what he's thinking. Like, he seriously thinks he has this deep connection with June. I don't know if he's just wanting to feel what he and Serena might have felt one time if she hadn't been so strong and he hadn't been so, I don't know what he thinks is happening between him and June, but he thinks their connection is real, and like she really would be grateful to him, but Serena Joy was like, you raped her, and he was like, that was your idea to rape her. I didn't, I didn't come up with that. You said do it or whatever. But like I said last episode, it didn't take much convincing for Commander Waterford, because he was already been trying to get at June in earlier episodes anyways. So it didn't take that much convincing, and he didn't have to rape her but he wanted to be with June with his infatuation, and he probably doesn't even feel like he raped her or anything, because you know how he Anyways, so he and Serena just like literally go at each other, and that's my favorite, because we've never seen, like, he'll say mean things, so he'll put her in her place. He'll do like little sit downs and everything to her, or she might make a little remark. But this is the first time where we just really see them just be like, I don't like you. and just openly admit it to each other. Like, she's like, you're an idiot. If you hadn't had this infatuation with her, I could have my baby. I did all of this for you and the cause. And the only thing I wanted out of this was a baby. And he was like, no, you wanted more than that, because he still, and she probably did, but because she didn't feel like the rules applied to her. And so he's like, you wanted more out of that, because she didn't mind being acting commander when he was down. She did not mind being acting commander, and I honestly think she thought none of the rules would apply to her. Like, she wouldn't have to follow anything else that the wives were having to do, but she did. So anyways, they're going at it, and it goes from them being angry at each other to them, like, her just being like, I have nothing now. Like, you took away, like, the one thing I had, the one reason that I did all of this, the reason that really I feel like she could have went to Hawaii and lived a better, even though it was wrong, it would have been wrong for her to get to escape and be good when she was the main cause of all this whole setup. She could have went to Hawaii and been free, but she wanted that baby so bad that she was like, no, I'm going to stay right here, and I'm going to live this miserable life, because once I get that baby, it'll be all worth it. That's how I feel like she felt. And so now she's just like, I did all of this and I don't even get the baby. Like, my baby's gone. And he's like, what are we gonna do? She's like, what are we gonna do? And he's like, let me think. Like, this whole part right here was just so funny, because he's just like, let me think. Like, she was like, we can't go back with saying a handmaid has escaped again. She's ran away again. The first time, okay. The second time, they're gonna say we're part of the resistance. But anyway, so after all that whole thing, she just finally breaks down, like I was saying earlier. She just breaks down and tells him, she has nothing, everything, she's lost everything. And he tries to console her, and she pushes him away. And the whole time they're arguing, now June is looking down at them, and she opens up the window because she's loaded a gun. Because they had bullets there, and she finds a gun, and she's loaded the gun, and she's aiming the gun like she's going to shoot them or kill them. But I don't know. After Serena broke down, and then, because June had plenty of time, if she had wanted to shoot them and kill them, she could have, and she could have got the Jeep. But she doesn't have that in her to do that. So she doesn't do it, and they live. And they walk off, and they're like, we gotta get, like Commander Waterford is like, we gotta get out of here. Which begs, excuse me, y'all, which begs the question for me. I don't feel like Gilead is as structured as we had thought, that I had thought at least it was in the first season, and even maybe the beginning of this season, because we've seen a lot of things happen, like the bomb. If Gilead was as structured as they had been, I don't think that would have ever happened. We saw they go to Canada, things went left there. Mind you, it was because of the letters and everything, but they're having to reach out to all these other places and countries. And I made the comment last week in the episode, and someone else commented about how that they felt like Gilead was going through some kind of structural change, or maybe they're not as far as their food wise, their economy is not going as great as maybe we had thought it was, because it doesn't look the same. And like Commander Waterford was afraid, like he was like, we got to get out this house. And then I'm like, what happened to the Mackenzies? Like, why did they abandon, why did they abandon this house and everything? So I don't know. I'm just like, what tell me what you think. Okay, so I'm gonna move forward because I know I spent a long time on that, but that was my favorite part of this whole season, this whole episode. So I spent a little bit longer on it. So let me find my place, y'all. So then we have a flashback with June. After, the Waterfords leave, we have a flashback, and she is with her mother and Maura, and they're looking at this midwife birthing center. And June's mom is just pretty much telling her that, she had her baby with no medicines or anything, and she wants June to have her baby in this birthing center. And June is looking around, and the birthing center looked really cute. I didn't see anything wrong with it. Like, if you wanted to have your baby that way, I didn't see anything wrong with it. But June is looking around, and she's like, I'm not having my baby here. I'm going to a hospital. And I'm going to have meds. Like, I'm not going to do it that way. And June's mom is pretty much just like, why wouldn't you want to have it here? And, she's asking her all those questions. You know how parents want you to do what they want you to do. And June is like, Mom, you're not going to even be there. I don't understand why it's such a big deal. Excuse me. And Maura is just like, awkward. And so June's mom is like, June, like, what are you saying? And she was like, I know you're busy with work. And so her mom is like, you think I put work above you? And June was like, don't make promises that you can't keep. Like, so don't make this say like, oh, have the baby here and we do all this, and then you're not going to show up anyways or whatever. So that was, and then so Maura broke that situation by being like, my friend had a baby in the woods or whatever. So that was the end of that flashback. So then we see June goes back out the house, and she's getting in the garage, and she's trying to pull, how you could unlatch the garage. So she's trying to pull the garage door open. It's not working. Because there's no electricity. So she's trying to do it that way, and it's not working. So then she's like, okay, I am going to get in the car and just bust out that way. That doesn't work. So then she goes outside, and she tries to shovel the snow because the door is frozen closed. So she tries to shovel the snow, and that's not working. And she ends up slipping and falling And now she's like on the ground, and I'm like, dang, June, you know, because she fell kind of hard. And then, of course, her water breaks because this whole time she's been straining doing all these activities. And, you know, he raped her. So the baby that was once in place that, you know, wasn't ready to come out at all because he raped her the day before, you know, the baby is ready now. So her water breaks, or whatever. And she's on the ground, and she looks, and she sees this wolf again. She sees that same wolf, and the wolf is licking his lip, and I'm like, oh no, no, no. But then she gets up and she walks away from the wolf, and she's not, it's like this time she's not as afraid of the wolf. So then we see, no, sorry about this, guys, I'm trying to get to it. Okay, so the next scene is June in front of the fire. So that she has a full-blown fire going, and she is having contractions now because the baby is on, you know, the baby's on the way. And I was like, okay, you know, because she has the fireplace going, I'm like, it would be smoke coming out, but I guess if nobody's really out there, then, I mean, she's got to have the, you know, the heat and everything because it's cold. But, so, anyways, she has the fire going, and she lays down on the floor, and then we see her have another flashback. And this time she thinks about being in the hospital, and the nurses, she's telling the nurse, hey, I want my epidural, and the nurse was like, no, you're not ready for that yet. And, you know, Luke and Maura are talking, and, you know, they're playing music, and she asks Maura about her mom because her mom is not there. And Maura's like, let me go and text her again, and everything. So it's just a moment where they're preparing for the birth. So she's in this hospital. She has the medicines that she's going to need. She has the equipment and the doctor. She has everything she needs, which is, again, like everything was contrast, which, you know, they always are with the flashbacks, but it really brought it home on this episode. So then they flash forward again, and we see June as I guess she's waking up, and we look, and she, like, there's blood everywhere. It's like she's bleeding out. And so she puts her hand down, and she realizes she's bleeding. And she tells the baby, you know I promised, because, you know, she promised the baby, I'm going to get you out of here. You're like, these people are not going to have you. And she said, I know I promised. But so then we go to the next scene, and it's June outside with the gun, and she, you know, she's still contracting and everything, and she goes outside, and the wolf is there again, and she looks over at it, and then, but she's not even thinking about the wolf anymore, and she loads her gun and fires in the air. And then she loads it again and fires again. I don't think the wolf howled on this episode. It was either this scene or the last scene where she saw the wolf. Anyways, the wolf howled her. And, like, she's trying to let somebody know, hey, I'm out here. And, you know, and I know that took a lot out of June to have to do that, because the last thing she would want to do is have to give up her baby. But she sees that if she dies, because she's bleeding a lot. She's like, if she dies, the baby won't survive anyways. So she has to do this so that she can get the help that she needs for herself, but more importantly for the baby. So then the next scene is she's, you know, having the baby. And again, Elizabeth Moss is such a great actress, because, like, all we hear on this scene is her grunting and bearing down and trying to deliver her child. And, like, I love The Handmaid's Tale, because I know I say that all the time, but I love The Handmaid's Tale because they do that. They don't even use words, and most of this episode was not words. It was just her actions and everything, but it keeps you, like, intrigued and watching and wanting to see what's happening next. So between doing, you know, her being in the house, having the baby, they also, like, did flashbacks where she was in the nursery, she was in the hospital. Let me get it right. She was in the hospital, and, you know, you see Luke there and Maura there, and she's bearing down, and Maura was looking like, woo, that looks like it's painful. But she's bearing down, and she's having the baby. And, you know, then we see her in the Red Center where they're training the girls, and she's, they're telling them to push, and June was one of the people that they were pretending she was having a baby. And then we see with Janine having a baby, and everyone was saying, breathe, 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 push, push. And it was just the whole cycle of, no matter where you are, what you're doing, it all comes down to like breathing and pushing and all of that. So, and they had, even Janine had support, and June is doing this all on her own. But so June finally has the baby, and we see it's a little girl, and she has the baby in her arms and everything. And then she has another flashback, and it's of her mother finally getting to make it to the hospital. And she was like, oh, my flight, she was delayed by the traffic and everything, but she got to finally make it to the hospital right after the birth. And June is introducing her mother to her grandchild, and she says, Hannah, this is your grandmother Holly and everything. So that was a special moment for them. And then we find out that June names her, the baby Holly. And so June and the baby are wrapped up in the blankets. And then the next scene that we see is lights from a vehicle. So they're there, someone's there to take June and the baby away. So they'll find them now, because of course June had to alert them with the gunshots and everything. And so that was The Handmaid's Tale, y'all. The Handmaid's Tale, y'all. Well, I'm still at 26 minutes. I'll be doing too much talking. Anyways, so tell me what you think about this episode. Even though there wasn't a lot of interaction with other people, I still feel like this was one of the better episodes of The Handmaid's Tale, just because it finally answered the question, how is June gonna have this baby? And then we see and I think that wolf was just a metaphor. I don't even think there was a wolf there at all. Tell me what y'all do. Do you think there was a wolf? I think that was just her inner strength. Because she went from being afraid to being I'm gonna be okay, to not even caring that the wolf was there. And it almost felt like when she was first went into Gilead, and she was a handmaid, and she didn't want to be there, and then she was there, but she was getting her strength, she was strong, and she knew she could endure it. And now she's just okay, I don't want to be there, but I need their help. As far as that's how I saw with the wolf. But y'all tell me what you think about that, because I might be going too deep on that. But anyways, also I want to know what's going to happen with Nicki and all that, because did y'all watch a preview for the next episode where, Emily's going to have a new commander? I don't know what's going to go on with that. That looked interesting. And then Serena is just tell me she didn't touch my baby. I'm like, Serena, shut up. Tell me she didn't touch my baby, and you brought her back here. And I don't know. I'm just like, Serena, hush. That is not your child anyways. But what y'all think about that whole scene between Fred and Serena? Just tell me what you think about the whole episode and where they're going. I know the last few episodes, it's just every time you think they're going somewhere, you're just I don't know. I have no clue where they're trying to go with the whole series. And then also, I said we would talk about that. When June was speaking at the beginning and at the end, she's speaking and who do you think she was talking to? Because at first I thought, well, maybe she's talking to her child, but so who do you guys think she was talking to? Because I think she's talking to her child, maybe a future handmaid. So tell me your thoughts on that. But anyways, that is the episode of The Handmaid's Tale. I'm looking forward to the last 2 episodes, because I want to see what's going on with Nick, because I saw a preview of that as well. I just want to know what's going on, period, because it's gotten better and better as it went on. It was dark. They've had dark episodes, but when they do episodes like this, I really remember why I really loved The Handmaid's Tale in the first place, and it's because of Elizabeth Moss's acting, because she's such a great actress. So y'all tell me what you think. I will let you go. You have a great weekend.